What is going on? What is going on, everyone? Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. It is our 23rd Town Hall. I remember I got to keep track because I'm just so proud of us for being consistent along this journey and continuing to show up over and over and over again and just seeing so many new faces, so many familiar faces looking inside of the chat. It just brings so much wonder. We have a lot visiting us now from the other side of the world. This man is just traveling left and right. Alad's in Israel. How's it going, man?
Yeah, it's this period of time of the year, summertime. My kid, he's, in vacation, not in school anymore. And we need to visit some family. So, yeah, from Vegas all the way to Miami one day and boom, to Israel for a week. So I'm sorry that it's not my crazy setup, but hopefully the internet is better today.
They definitely will be better. And for those of you who don't know, it's a 14. Well, you went from Vegas straight to Israel, or you came back home and then you went?
Yeah, so I've been in Miami home for 24 hours maybe.
So it's a 14-hour flight.
So from Vegas to Miami, it's about 5 hours, and then Miami to Israel, it's 12.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is insane. Well, I'm glad that you're
it
here.
is.
And it just goes to show you that a lot is not gonna miss a town hall, no matter where he's at in the world.
No matter
And
what.
again, it doesn't matter if this is not his home computer. He's still able to go ahead and produce the town hall, be able to show up, be able to log in, and again, just showcasing the power of how Evmux can truly be a platform and a software for a remote producer. So, with that being said, definitely want to go ahead and say hello to everyone here in the chat. Always love to be able to address that. We got Grandma Joe coming in. Thank you so much for always coming in and having some questions. Imagine Studios, how's it going? The Rambler Rogler, how's it going? Yo, man, really, really good live streams you've been doing as well. Been definitely checking those out. Emmanuel, how's it going? Susan, how's it going? Raj, how's it going from India? Love from India. Love it. Love it. Shauna's here as well. And we got Jamie. How's it going, man? That's a lot of flight time. Definitely is. Definitely is.
Yeah,
And then we
tell me about
got the Mix Club coming here from Illinois. So really full house today. I love it. We're going to be talking today about customizing your camera inside of Evmux. I think that we once again are trying to continue to educate as many of our users as possible to really get familiar with using ProScenes and utilizing ProScenes to be able to go ahead and really have the flexibility and the customization that you need. And we really want to focus on camera. Of course, we all know we have to be on screen. So we wanted to showcase all the things you can do with your camera inside of Evmux, from resizing it, from cropping it, from making adjustments to it, from making customized lower thirds, zooming in, zooming out. There's just so many options there. And we have some new people joining in here. We got Jensen, greetings from Germany. How's it going? How's it going? We got the Hustle T King reaction. What's going on? Welcome, welcome. And the student of the word. Love this a lot. They're here for you, man. They're here for you. So why don't we talk first about why we added ProScenes. I think we should address that first. Why was ProScenes something that we wanted to have addressed and added into Evmux, and not just have dynamic scenes where it's easy to use, but why ProScenes?
Yeah, so it's always this question because it is a unique thing that we have within Evmux, the ProScenes. I don't know about other web-based tools with ProScenes as robust as we have them. Mm-hmm. For us, it was kind of a must because, we had a lot of clients in the beginning of the pandemic that they wanted to have like smooth transition from one speaker to four speaker on the stage. With dynamic scenes, you just cannot achieve that. So you need to have a scene with one speaker, a scene with four, and then be able to transition between them. Also, the flexibility that, you want to be able to move things and design it as you wish, specifically if you are thinking about content creators, maybe the most creative people on earth, like no way to limit those folks. Like for us, It was obvious that we have to do that. And also, it's different and we have to be different than the competition because the competition is very hard, amazing tools out there, and we needed to be different. So that's maybe our number one differentiator among others, but that's definitely a leading one. And so far we see people really appreciate the ProScenes, and we're trying, to improve as much as we can.
And I love that response. And since you're kind of going there, we're talking about the journey of like why we added ProScenes to Evmux. We have Susan here, and we have a lot of new faces here that maybe they haven't heard this story. But ask, how did you get the name Evmux? And Mike Game Killer, welcome. Love seeing you here. But if you want to share again, how the name Evmux came about, we can go ahead and just kind of introduce that to some of the new people who have been here today. And Ram, welcome.
Yes. I love to tell the story because definitely Evmux is not the first name you think of when you think about the live streaming platform. And again, we love to be unique in a way. So Evmux is a combination of EV and Mux. EV is for us, it was the shortcut for events. I've heard a lot of people saying EV, it's like electricity and things like that. So, okay, you can take it there. And Mux is, I don't know if everyone is aware, but Mux is the shortcut for multiplexer. Okay, and multiplexing is basically the action of taking different components and create something out of it, like something nice out of it. So that's basically the idea. Events, and then taking what you do, the mixing you do in Evmux, and then stream it out. So for us, it's like, okay, Evmux for sure. we understand that people don't get it at the first because you just don't know. So we're happy all the time to share the story behind the name. Definitely, there is a story here.
Yeah, and I totally love that. And we'll get here to show you guys. We'll dive into the content for the day today. But for anybody who's new and doesn't know kind of the history of Evmux as well, of kind of like where did Evmux come from? Would it just get invented overnight? There's a huge experience and background from Milan and the other founders as well in the event space. Why don't we just dive a little bit into that? I think we have a lot of new faces here, and it's a great opportunity to just talk about what happened before Evmux was created. Why was it created to begin with?
Wow, I don't remember, man. It was a long time ago. No, I'm kidding.
I
but,
wish.
It's like you
Yeah.
try to remember what was life before the pandemic, kind of, and you just don't remember. So for me, Evmux, it's like it always been there. Anyways, it started with the pandemic, that we were very, experienced in the event space, in in-person events, and then everything turned virtual. Clients came to us asking for production services for virtual events. We tried the tools out there and we figured out that they are just not good enough, either too complicated or too easy with very limited capabilities. Not that easy is bad, easy is very good, but at the end of the day, you need to deliver what the clients want. And if it's limiting you, then you can't. So we figured out that there is a space to be kind of the sweet spot, as we always say, being very easy in one end, but yet very robust on the other end. And that's where Evmux started. We worked a lot to make it happen. Live streaming is very complicated and we're still working a lot. It will never end. But yeah, we launched about 4-5 months ago. And
it's about 6. Yeah, 6 now. Yeah, so it's just an amazing journey. I think one of the biggest things that me and you talk about pretty frequently, and we'll dive here into the content of showing you guys how to customize your camera, is that, it's pretty challenging to sometimes find a balance between having a tool that is simplistic enough for a beginner to be able to use, but robust enough for someone who has more experience in the field to be able to get the most out of it. And I think that's when, we've talked about, I had somebody message me and said, "Oh, I love Evmux. It's like this platform and this platform just had a baby and Evmux was created." And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I'm just super excited about everything that we're doing here in this journey, the support that we have, the feedback. It's just been amazing. David, thank you so much for tuning in, man. So happy to see everyone here. But with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the content, right? Because I think I see here, I did a poll today and I asked, what do you use for your camera input inside of Evmux? I asked if you use a laptop webcam, USB webcam, DSLR camera, or cell phone camera. And DSLR camera had a 53%, and then USB and laptop camera had a 20%, and then cell phone camera had 7%. So there's a lot of opportunity here. Each one of you, regardless of what kind of a camera output you should be using, should be in Pro Scenes. 100%, I recommend you to get familiar with Pro Scenes. I know there's a lot of users that still just use Dynamic, but let's go ahead and kick off the video to show you guys just a simplified way to be able to crop and resize your camera utilizing the Pro Scene that you don't get access to in Dynamic Scenes.
Yeah, enjoy and ask your questions again in the chat and we'll address everything right after the video.
Perfect. Using our Pro Scene feature gives you so much flexibility in how you customize your content. But one highly asked question is, how do I crop my camera in Evmux? So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to do just that utilizing our Pro Scene tool. So let's go ahead and jump into my Evmux account so you can see how easy this really is. So once you're logged into your Evmux account, you want to make sure you're inside the live stream editor. Then once you're in here, you want to make sure you're on the Pro Scenes, as that's going to be the only way you're going to be able to go ahead and modify and crop your camera. So what you want to do is you want to go either select the scene that already has your camera inputted, or we can go ahead and add a new scene so you can modify this camera. So you select add scene, you're then going to go ahead and select empty scene, you're going to select create, and that's going to go ahead and create a new scene for us and give us a clean canvas. Now what we want to do is we want to select add new layer. We're then going to go scroll down to where it says speaker, and you want to make sure you're under editors to be able to get your own personal camera. But if you have other speakers or people that you want to go ahead and add to the scene, you can follow the same steps here. So I'm going to find myself on the editor. I'm going to select add, and you're going to see here that now I'm added to the layer. Now what I want to do to be able to go ahead and customize this, now of course you can go ahead and resize this as you like by just grabbing one of the dots in one of the corners to be able to size it. If you click on this camera and you go to style and effect, you can go ahead and round the corners if you like, and then be able to size it. So this is another way for you to be able to modify the camera. You can then go ahead and undo that. You can come to dimensions, and now you have two options here to be able to go ahead and modify the camera. So you can go ahead and stretch it. This is going to go ahead and allow you to be able to then size it and crop it automatically to any size that you want. It's more of a free form cropping, allowing you to be able to go ahead and create any kind of size or shape that you may want naturally without having to be restricted. So to accomplish that, again, you want to select stretch to canvas, and when you do that, it free forms the camera for you to be able to adjust it as you like. But if you wanted to go ahead and just crop it, you can go ahead and select the crop feature, and then you can go ahead and just simply drag and crop what you would like to go ahead and crop. So you select crop, and then you grab one of the corners, and now I can crop any aspect of the camera that I like, allowing me to be able to then create these scenes and have my camera position and modify how I see fit. And now that your camera is perfect, if you want to learn how to set up a green screen inside of Evmux, check out this video where I'll walk you step by step on getting one set up in less than 5 minutes. I'll see you guys in the next video. All right. So you can see there just how easy it was to be able to begin to customize your camera and make it into any kind of shape you want, crop it, and just adjust it, because sometimes you may not want all of your background to be seen and you want to adjust it, and you want to create space for other things that are on screen as well. So with that, we have a lot of questions coming in. I love that the questions are related towards the camera topic, but again, questions can be anything related to Evmux, anything that you may have, something you may have a challenge with throughout the week, anything that you may be interested in seeing in the future. It's an opportunity for you to be able to open up any questions that you want to bring. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and dive into some questions, and then we have, if there's time, we have a demo to be able to show you guys some feature on. Somebody had asked this question in regards to how can I have one camera and have that camera also become different scenes, where I have one that's normal, one that's zoomed in, one that's more cropped. So we created a kind of a demo, if there's time to it, because we definitely want to address the questions first. And then if there's an opportunity for it, for us to be able to share that, then we'll go ahead and definitely share it. So the first question that we got here, let's take a look. First question is from Grandma Joe. Came in early and answered the first question of the day. She said, I do notice that when someone else has me on and they switch from side by side to just me, it's so blown up, I look huge. Of course, they're not using awesome Evmux. Is that why? All the way at the top.
No, it's the right
question. Okay. All right. So first question in there. So, the how you appear on stream, especially if it's another platform, has to come down how that person has you set up. Or at the end of the day, if in Evmux we have a scene where everything looks a little bit smaller, and then I just put you in a regular dynamic scene, then most of the time I'm probably going to see your whole screen. You're probably going to be more zoomed in. There's not a lot of customization. So, without kind of knowing exactly how they had you set up, it's kind of hard to say, but it's probably nothing on your end. Just has to be how they have you set up or the platform that they're utilizing. So that's probably it there. It says, Imagine Studio has kind of like a follow-up question to that. It says, a really good question. I have the same. If I give my guests the whole screen, their video feed zooms in to an extreme. So once again, if you're the producer inside of Evmux, and that's Imagine Studio coming in, if you're the producer inside of Evmux, it's up to you, especially if you're utilizing pro scenes, to determine how that user is going to look, especially when you make them full screen. And then once they're full screen inside of Evmux, then you have to make sure that they're not zoomed in their camera settings, or they're not zoomed in on their end or too close to the camera, because there's a 50-50 chance that you have them perfectly sized inside of Evmux, but they're too zoomed in on their camera, or they have it cropped. So you have to make those adjustments in there to be able. So you have, like I said, 50% of the control, and then the actual speaker has the other 50%. Because if they're using a DSLR camera, I can zoom in my camera now if I want to a lot closer than what it is right now on the stream. So you just have to take a look at how you have it set up. If you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, that's usually what
Mm-hmm.
happens. Here I'm pretty with high distance, but when I'm
Right.
home, I know that my setup is that I'm pretty close. I need to arrange that. So it really depends a lot of
Right.
the speaker. In Evmux, what you can do is maybe with the pro scenes, you can maybe use a nice background and then
Mhm.
make them a bit smaller within the background, like still one shot, but they are smaller within a nice frame, branded frame that you have.
Right.
If you have speakers that are too large in a full screen, then maybe you can make it nice that way.
Perfect. Yeah. So I love that. And then we got a question here from student of the word. It says here, it's towards the bottom. Says, when I use my external camcorder, my audience was seeing all of the icons on my camcorder, like brackets around my face, etc. How do I get that off? So those are going to be settings directly inside of your camera. A lot of the times, if your camera doesn't have a clean HDMI, it's going to go ahead and have all the displays and all the settings on your screen. So you got to take a look. What I would do is that I would just go ahead and put in Google the brand and make of your camcorder and see if it has a clean HDMI output. And if it does, then it's just a setting inside of your camcorder to be able to remove the display, and then it's not going to show directly on your stream or anything of that sort. Now, if it doesn't have a clean HDMI, then you're not going to be able to remove the display settings, because that's not something that's handled inside of Evmux. That's something that's handled inside of the camera, and it's being pulled from the HDMI cable that you're plugging into your computer or your Elgato capture card, or any device you're using to be able to have Evmux pick up the camera as an input. So you just got to look at your settings in your camera. So let's see here. Then we have a question here from Imagine Studio. Says, let me try to miss no other question. Okay, question from Grandma Joe. Says, I didn't catch where that editor tab you spoke about. Is that in the paid version? The editor tab. So the editor tab. Go ahead, Alad. Do you know what she's
Yeah,
referencing?
I
Okay,
think it can be two things. First of all, the studio itself, we sometimes call it
the
editor.
editor.
So just to make sure we're speaking the same language, when we say editor, we mean the studio. So of course, in all the plans, you have access to the studio. Also, for the cropping, when you click on, and you know what, let me share my screen. I think it's a good time to do that. Where I have this scene ready, my share screen.
Perfect.
All right, here it is, my share screen. Cool. All right, so you should be able to see my share screen. Let's see what scene I can play with. So if I'm taking this scene as an example, okay. So in this scene, let me also take the question off the
Yep.
screen. All right. Question. All right, where is the question? Bear with me. All right, cool. So you see here that I have different components on the scene, and I have those two speakers here, which is Anthony and I. So if I'm clicking on myself now, sorry, let's click on myself now. Cool. There is the toolbar here. This is another maybe editor, you can call it, but basically it's a toolbar that in any component in Process that you click on, this toolbar pops up.
Right.
And then many different things you can do. We won't dive into all of them now, but if we're talking about cropping, this is where you can crop. And this is the lower third. And this is where you can play with the round corners, which is also pretty cool. Chroma key, transparency, stretch to canvas here and there, and position it. A lot of different things. So remember this toolbar. When you click on the speaker, or any other component, it pops up, and then you can play with it.
Yeah, and since you're there, Imagine Studios had a question saying, what I understand is that you can control it in Pro Scenes, but not in Dynamic, which is the default. 100% correct. So once again, like I said, Dynamic Scenes is really built for someone who's ready to go on the fly, right? You're not really looking for much customization. You're not really looking to have a lot of options to be able to tweak. You're happy and okay with the predefined layouts that we have available for you. So you're not going to have access to that toolbar to be able to crop, to be able to resize, to be able to stretch the canvas, to be able to do chroma key, all these things that are there to be able to change lower thirds. You're not going to have that option inside Dynamic, because the purpose of Dynamic was to have a simplified option for someone who just said, I just want to plug in my camera, plug in my microphone, select where I want to stream to, and hit go live, and let the rest of the software do the rest for me. Where we understood that there was also people who have live streams, who have podcasts, who are doing webinars, who are doing shows, who are doing recordings, that wanted to make scenes ahead of time and have more flexibility on where they place their camera, where they place their lower thirds, adding their logo, adding a background, resizing a screen share. So like I said, once again, even if you're doing something simplified, I highly recommend utilizing ProScenes, because most of the time you kind of know what you're going to talk about, even if it's a pre-recorded video, even if it's a show, even if it's a just podcast interview that's just being recorded. You most of the time know what is going to happen. So if you have sponsors, if you have guests that are going to be on the show and you want to add their branded logo or their presentation, it's very important to be able to utilize ProScenes. But to answer your question, customization of camera, it's only in ProScenes.
Yeah,
Okay?
and just to add to that, ProScenes also really easy to run the show that way. We say
Right.
it again and again and again. Producing a show, it doesn't matter if you are speaking and producing at the same time, like I'm doing now, or if you are just behind the scenes producing. It's really easy that you have the scenes ready, and then it's according to the run of show. And it's totally fine that you're flexible during the show and you might change things on the fly, but you have kind of the high level run of show handy, and then less room for mistakes. With dynamic scenes, again, we have it because it's super easy to go live, and a lot of people love that, and they don't need more than that. But if you are willing to take your live streams and content creation to the next level, the ProScenes are just there for you, to take it away. It's amazing.
Yep, I 100% agree there. Says Rambling Vlogger, not a question, just saying getting ready with the Rodecaster Pro to be able to get the capability to be able to switch. We do have hotkeys on the way. And then we have here a question from, let's see here, Student of the Word. Question from Student of the Word says, I had videos and pictures to share, but when I did my broadcasting, I no longer saw those. I used the same session. How do I keep those pictures and videos to use during that session? So as long as you're using the same session, any assets that you upload to that session, you're going to have access to. So a lot of the times, if you had the videos and pictures to share, you may want to double check to make sure you had it inside the same project, because the way that it works is that when you log into your Evmux account, you're brought to your dashboard. On the top left-hand side, you're going to see it's going to say Anthony's stream, Anthony's project. That's the overall project you've created. Then inside of there is where you've created the different sessions or streams that you're going to utilize. As long as you're inside that same project, regardless if you create a new session or not, you're still going to have access to those assets as long as you stay inside of that project. So if you're using the same session over and over again, just like we do here at the Town Hall, anytime I upload a video, anytime I upload graphics, they're always going to be there available for me to be able to access. So when you go to a scene and you click media files, you should see all of your assets there. If you don't, in most cases, you're probably inside of the wrong project and inside of a different session that doesn't have those assets. So just take a look at that.
I just want to add to that, and kind of it's a good maybe opportunity to explain that
Sure.
how the system is structured. Okay, so
Right.
you have the account level, and then in your account you can create multiple projects. Each project you can treat it as a different event. It's no relationship basically between those projects. The relationship is that they are, with your account, of course, but no relationship. It means that you can add collaborators to one project and not to the other. Okay, just an example. Within the project, you can have multiple sessions, and then it depends on the use case. If your use case is one show once a week kind of, and it's kind of the same all the time with tweaks here and there, you definitely can reuse the same session again and again and again. because then all your scenes and everything will be available for you all the time, and you can use the replace capability, which is amazing, to replace speakers, but the design is already there and you don't have to change anything. What else you can do is to have multiple sessions within a project. Okay, so if you have an event now and the event has multiple sessions, you can definitely create multiple sessions. The scenes won't be duplicated between the sessions, but all the assets will. So if you uploaded a video, an opening video, okay, that this is the opening video for all your sessions, you don't have to re-upload it again and again and again. You upload it once to one session, and then when you create the second session, as Anthony said, you go to create a new scene, you add a media file, and then you'll see there the video available for you 100%. Okay, so just I hope it helps to understand the structure.
The structure. Yeah, I think that's important, because I think that is sometimes can create some confusion, and sometimes you create multiple scenes and maybe you don't see the value in like utilizing the same scene, especially if you're just making minor adjustments to your session there. So we have one, and this is just not a question, but this is just a recommendation. I highly agree with Grandma Joe. It's always important to do a mic check and a camera check with your guests and your speakers. Not only does it ensure that you have a great experience, but you're also making sure that your guests and your speakers looking good as possible, right? Because you're there to highlight them as a guest and a speaker. So definitely doing that. And that's where the speaker room comes in. As an editor, you're able to preview their camera and see it. You're able to bring them on stage without having to go live, to make sure that everything is aligned. Just like we did before me and Alad came in here, I created 3 scenes for a demo that we may not have time to do today, but I had created the demo, and then when we started, I said, hey, go to those scenes and let's do a check. Let's see if my camera is positioned correctly. Make sure if it's good, the cropping and the zooming. And we made those easy tweaks right away to be able to go ahead and be prepared in the event that we were going to do a demo for that. So I highly agree there.
Question? I just want to add to that, because it is super important.
100%.
Even if you are a pro, okay, we did hundreds of events and live streams for clients and for ourselves, and we still consistent with the tech check before we go live. It is super important. You can never know. Sometimes you're in different computers, sometimes the internet is different, sometimes I don't know, something happened to your computer, who knows? Okay, so maybe you have a virus on your computer, I don't know, but tech check is extremely important. It doesn't have to take 1 hour. It can be 10 minutes. I agree with people that say, let's do the tech check 30 minutes before, because if we need some time to troubleshoot, we have the time. If everything is fine, you know, we can turn camera off, mute ourselves for the rest 25 minutes and be back 5 minutes before. But at least we had the time to troubleshoot if we needed. Just imagine that 10 minutes before you are trying, you expect everything to be fine, you see that it's not fine, and then you're like, okay, I have less than 10 minutes to figure it out, freaking out, okay? You don't have to be there. Come in 30 minutes before, quick tech check, 3-5 minutes, that's it. Everything should be ready to go, and then be back again 5 minutes before. That's this is what we do. So I just recommend you to do the same.
Yeah, I 100% agree there. And just some new faces coming in and some familiar faces. Domino, what's going on? Darius, Oraldo, thank you for tuning in. So we have some really good questions coming in as well. So let's see here. We had a question coming in from Mike Game Killer. Says, I have 2 questions. Is there going to be a way to add our own custom lower thirds, like animated YouTube button? Second, will there be a way to studio on setup? A way to studio on setup. So the adding your own animated lower thirds is an option available right now. So you can 100% be able to do that by simply disabling the animated lower thirds that are there present right now, this moment, and then adding it as a media file. So as long as you add it as a MP4 or a WebM, you'll be able to go ahead and have that animated lower third, that subscribe button, follow me on here. You'll be able to add that with no issue. The same way you add a video is the same way you would add that feature in there. Then as far as the second question, if you maybe comprehended, you can address it. But would there be a way to studio on setup?
Yeah, I'll just add to the first one that WebM you can upload with transparent background, and that's why it's so amazing and so many different things you can do.
Oh yeah, so much.
So just taking a lower third as an example, you can upload this video and then make this video looping. Okay, and then basically you can create a video that, let's just as an example, the lower third animation is for 10 seconds, and then you have transparent like nothing for another 5 minutes even, and then again the video, so it will be looped like that. So every 5 minutes you'll have 10 seconds of lower third. It's up to you how to create it, but then basically you're not limited and you can upload as many lower thirds as you want. The downside about it, that of course it's not the native lower third within the platform, so you need to upload it and kind of put it as a layer on top of the speakers manually. While with the native lower thirds, you just put the speaker and then you can do the configuration for the lower thirds, and that's it. It's part of the video feed. So that's the difference, but you can still do it, and we have a lot of clients using it when branding is super important for you and you want your own lower thirds. So you definitely can do that. Same idea for those subscribe me and then whatever, different animations you might want to have. Just upload it as a WebM file with transparent background.
Right.
The second question, I'm not sure I understood it 100%. Set up the studio. What does it mean, man?
Not sure. So Mike, just go ahead and elaborate on that, and we'll loop back to your question here in just a moment. Emmanuel had a good question. I do see this one going around in the Facebook group as well, and I think it's a great opportunity to address it now. Is there a way to show your camera or any other content before you go live so that you don't have a black screen when clicking on the go live button? So, even though this is something that we are going to go ahead and adjust, there is a way to be able to go ahead and do it now. So this is be the only instant where I would recommend utilizing dynamic scenes. So utilizing dynamic scenes, what you can do is that there you can add your camera, so you'll be full screen if you want to be the first instance to pop up, and then you can go ahead and switch to the pro scenes if you like. One thing that I've seen some users doing is that they'll have either a plain background with their logo, some kind of graphic, because you can add a background image to dynamic scenes, have that be the first scene to pop up. It can even be like starting soon, right? It can be a graphic that says starting soon, and then you can go ahead and transition over into your pro scenes. That way, at least for your replay viewers, they're not going to go ahead and see a black screen, or if it takes you a few minutes, the people who tune in live don't see that black screen. So that would be the immediate fix for that at this moment, is to just have a dynamic scene set up for whatever it is you want to appear first, and then you can instantly transition. Most of the time we transition. Most of the time we have a just Evmux live stream editor graphic that pops up, and then we transition into the countdown.
That's a great feedback. To be honest, to begin with, it wasn't something we really paid too much attention, because we said, you go live, 2 seconds, you do the transition, it's the end of the world. But we do understand the feedback, and we're going to add this capability to basically select, let's say, the default scene, if you will. So this scene will be played immediately when you go live, and then it's up to you when you transition to each other screen.
Perfect. So then we have another question here from Imagine Studio. Sorry, this is off topic. All questions are welcome. Is there a way to save RTMP that you use all the time? 100%. So
it depends. It's in the session level. So
in the session level,
reusing the same session again and again and again, it will be there. Again, we're doing the Townhall, our Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever we use is already configured, and we're just changing the posts every time. But we don't need to reconnect the RTMPs. So if you're using the same session, yes. If it's a different session, you will have to connect it again, because for the system, it's a whole new session.
And when Elad says you're doing a whole new session, it's not like, hey, we stopped the town hall and then next week we're doing the town hall again. When he says a new session, you're creating a whole new live stream, whole new in your dashboard. But if you're using the same session over and over again, no matter how many times you use it, your RTMP settings will be saved. So I just wanted to clarify that. Okay, so perfect there. Magic Studio say anything a lot. Thank you so much for clarification. Hey, this is what we're here for. We're here to help. Love pro scenes. We love pro scenes as well. Okay. Then we have here, let's see here. Susan, what type of podcast mic do you use, Anthony? This is the pod mic from Rode that I'm using. It says, David says, what is the best browser to use with Evmux? Chrome. is going to be the best browser to be able to utilize. Because it's just going to give you the best features and the best flexibility and stability for the software there. Did you want to elaborate on that?
And to that,
Yep.
if your guests are using iOS, iPhones, iPads, etc., they need to use Safari. Um, we do support also Firefox and Edge, but the best experience will be 100% with Chrome.
Perfect. All right, perfect. So then we got a message here from the Mix Club. Says, Anthony, I did try to reach out to you on the Messenger, but it looks like you did not see it. How is the best way to reach out to me? So the best way to reach out is Messenger. So I just got to take a look to see. Sometimes you can maybe put into like the request folder where I don't see it. So maybe try to send me a friend request first so I can approve it, and then it will automatically put you inside of my inbox because I'm in my Messenger pretty frequently. But that is going to be the best way to be able to reach me, or just post it directly inside the Facebook group, tag me a direct question, and I can always go ahead and reach out to you from there. But you're doing it right. But just try to add me first. Mix Club said, I treat my streams just like a live show with a brand. I get everyone backstage 30 minutes before. Yep, 100%. So it says, sorry, my question was cut off. Is there a way to add thumbnails inside of Evmux? Oh, okay, here's the additional question from My Game Killer. So adding thumbnails inside of Evmux, yes. Okay, so especially if you're going to be streaming to YouTube, once you set up your broadcast channel, in order for you to get access to the thumbnail feature, you have to go ahead and schedule. So once you go ahead, let's say, for example, I know that the town hall is every Thursday at 1 p.m. So on Wednesday, if I want to, I can go ahead and set that town hall up and put a thumbnail so that it shows up on Evmux. And the beautiful thing about it is that if you're multi-streaming to multiple platforms like Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch, you're able to go ahead and put different thumbnails for each single one, allowing you to be able to have a more tailored experience for each individual platform. So 2 of the things you wanted to accomplish in Evmux are available for you right now. Anything you wanted to add on that, Alon?
Yeah, you said it. You said it better than I would.
All right. All right, perfect. So then let's see here what we have here. Let's see here. Tashila. I don't know if I pronounced that wrong or not, but I'm sorry. Welcome from South Africa. Really happy that you're enjoying Evmux. Wolfgang, what's going on? So great to see so many familiar faces here. And it says, Jamie says, in dynamic scenes, is there a way to designate which speaker is the larger portion before switching to that layer in dynamic scenes?
Yeah, I'll explain.
Mm-hmm.
So the short answer is not really, and that's why I'm not a fan of dynamic scenes, because your control is limited.
Right.
With that said, if you are playing now, if you have pro scenes and you want to use dynamic scenes at the same time, remember that the screen is splitted, right, in Evmux. So if you play not a dynamic scene, but just any other pro scene now live on the right side, on the left side, you are able to fully edit your dynamic scene. So during this time, I'm sure, Jamie, you know that, but I'm talking to the rest, basically. At this time, you are able to fully customize, with the limitations, of course, the dynamic scene. So you can add speakers, remove speakers, change the layout, and make sure that everything is ready and set, and then transition to this scene. That's another nice thing about the live and preview that we have in Evmux, that it allows you to do that. But if you're playing the dynamic scene right now, then you cannot edit it at the same time, because editing the dynamic scene is on the fly. That's all the thing about, that's everything about dynamic scene, that it's on the fly, and then removing, adding, if you did any mistake, it's not a mistake, but just the limitations of the dynamic scenes, then it is what it is. If you want something more, crisp, accurate, without any mistakes, go with Pro.
And one of the things there too is that for anybody who's been using the Pro scenes and you see yourself live, there's been a little hidden feature that maybe you have not noticed, because maybe it wasn't something that was there prior to the editor being updated. And when you're using Pro scenes and you actually transition a scene from preview to live, that live window now becomes almost like a template that is now static. And what I mean by that is that it almost becomes a dynamic scene, because let's say I have me and Alad and I'm sharing a screen. So that's three, in a sense, boxes there, right? One for my camera, one for his camera, and one for the screen share that I'm sharing. So let's say the screen share is the biggest window in that aspect there. And I say, you know what, Alad's done sharing her screen, but I actually don't have a scene set up where I can just quickly transition to him with the screen share. So you can just, in the live preview, in the live, what the audience see, you can drag Alad, drag them on top of the screen share, and it's going to automatically swap them, allowing you to be doing edits on the fly. So you can move anybody around. You don't have to worry about resizing. It's just going to go ahead and swap it. You don't have to move a lot and then move the screen share. The system is smart enough to know you're moving a lot from box 3 to box 1. So it's automatically going to fill in the gap and move the screen share to box 3. So that was something that I really, really enjoyed, allowing me to be able to edit like even deeper on the fly, to be able to still look on the stream like a smooth transition. So if you haven't tried that out yet, definitely give it a go. So you can see just how beautiful that little hidden feature is there. But I really, really love that there. So we got time to be able to take a few more questions. And then let's see here. We may not have an opportunity, but what I'll end up doing is that I'll probably end up making a video showcasing you guys how you can go ahead and have one camera and utilize multiple variations of it to make it seem like you have multiple cameras that you're able to utilize. So we have a question here from Domino Entertainment. It says, is there an Evmux affiliate program? We'd love to become a part of the magic. As soon as we have it available, Domino, we will let you know. We'll definitely make a notification inside of the Facebook group. So if you're not a part of the Facebook group, anybody who is trying to be a part of the affiliate program, we will make the announcement there first. And because that's our most tight-knit community. And we want to go ahead and announce it there and give opportunity for those users to be able to become advocates of Evmux. Even though some of you already are advocates of Evmux, and we're 100% grateful and thankful for all the guidance and the feedback and just sharing Evmux with your friends and family. So got a question here. It says, Imagine Studio. It says, is there a way to become a partner to Evmux? My live stream is usually in Spanish. So that's going to be huge. Again, these are things that we're moving towards now with the affiliate, with looking for ambassadors. These are things that we're moving towards. So once again, just continue to stay on our radar, continue to be involved in the community. And once those opportunities become available, we will go ahead and make the announcement, allowing anyone to be able to apply to see where the partnership makes the most sense. So
I can promise you all one thing: the affiliate is going to be announced during July. 100%
during
July. I cannot say if it's going to be the 10th of July or the 20th or the 30th.
Yeah.
But during July.
Yeah. No worries there. Now, Jamie says, I'm just a lazy producer and I've been using dynamic scenes a lot lately. Listen, dynamic scenes can work. I think that it just depends on how complex your show or your live stream is going to be. But there's nothing wrong with dynamic scenes. And I constantly is like, oh, well, Anthony, you just constantly always shutting dynamic scenes down. And it's just, I just truly love pro scenes. And it's just like everything I can do in dynamic scenes, I can do in pro scenes and more. So I might as well just use pro scenes to be able to do it all. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's just super exciting to see how so many people are using Evmux differently. There's so many things that we haven't even been exposed to. I've talked to a few people that are using Evmux in ways that I never could imagine. And it just comes down to your creativity. So, yep, that makes the 12th my birthday. Oh, well, happy early birthday. The 20th is my birthday. Oh, perfect. Well, the 9th is my birthday. So, okay, I'm first. All right. No. But all laughs and giggles. So, but with that being said, a lot, it's been a great. I would love to see so many people here. If you haven't had opportunity to like the live stream, definitely like it. It definitely helps give us more exposure for some replay viewers to be able to get experience onto some of the things that we taught today. But overall, if you didn't get your question answered today, always go ahead and join us inside the Facebook group. Like I said, we do our best to be as active as possible in there to address as many questions, to be able to go ahead and just keep helping and supporting. So with that being said, Alad, what do we always say?
Yeah, we'll see you in the next one. And this time I will be back home. Hopefully.
You'll be back home. All right, perfect. There we go. You heard it here first. See you soon.
Thank you all. Bye.
All right, I'm live. That was easy.